Welcome back to part 2 of What If Zuko Was Silent. So, where we left off, the pro heroes and the citizens and the villains that were in present were a little bit shocked when they heard that Zuko is the most powerfulest one there is. So, yeah, and plus, he does, or he knows one for all users. And he could use their powers. But, so Sashi was one of the pro heroes that were shocked. Not shot, shock. Like in the electric shock, yeah. Well, basically, yeah. Basically, Zuko is, as he walks around, or he walks in the corner, as Asashi was like, and all the pro heroes are like, man, this kid is more dangerous than every single one. As his arms stretched, as he slaps one of the pro heroes that just said that. Whoosh, yeah. Hey. Whoosh, whoosh, yeah. And like a ghost that was possessing or like those ghosts that talk through yeah. They tell Zuko, they tell, yeah, and plus they can like take control of his body, so yeah, and in part 1, I forgot to mention that his black eyes, like, it represents like the how some ghosts like this was possessed. Yeah. Yeah. So, and he's at age of 15. So he goes to UA. That's what his original plan was. But then Zuko's parents decided to like take away his voice because he's quirkless. But Zuko wasn't quirkless. He actually didn't have it wasn't quirkless. He had a quirk, but it was not one quirk, not 2 quirks, but 4 quirks. That was like galaxy size. He's basically like rare, like galaxy rare. Basically, like what I'm trying to say is he has 4 quirks and 2 abilities that make him over basically everyone in the My Hero Academia universe. So yeah, he has Dragon's Breath. Basically, it's like a combined of his mother's others and his father's quirks. And that he can absorb fire into himself or breathes it in and out. Number 2 is the he basically multiverse or millions dimensions eater or eater thing of millions. So underneath his shirt actually is actually the basically, or he can transform into the that Yu-Gi-Oh card here. Yu-Gi-Oh Eater. Yeah. Eaters of millions. And so, but actually I'm going to, instead of him transforming into it, his chest has the exact same mouth as him. So basically, he can absorb the attacks into himself. So, and then number 3 was the creation, like Forge of Creation, similar to how Momo creates stuff by just trying to memorize it. But it's the more advanced version than Momo's because he doesn't need to remember what it was. He just uses or every time he clenches his fist, and he creates a blade. Yeah. And yeah, and this fourth, a final one, is actually, I know that there's, you guys think that I might be pulling your leg, but yeah, it should have been like, what if Deku was screaming banshee kind? So, but the fourth quirk is actually a fusion quirk. Because Zero can boost his fusion quirk up to, like, he could fuse people, he could fuse animals, he could fuse his own 4 quirks and 2 abilities to create an ultimate, like, one who destroys all, if he wants to. Or one who listens to all. Yeah. Okay? So, yeah. So then let's get back into the story. So, yeah. So Asashi asks Zuko to go back to the house. And one of the voices just says, Diane, I still sure I have one regret in this world. Need to take care of. As he looks over at the, let's say, at one of the villains that were still stunned. As he creates he pulls out of thin air a really hot katana thing. As they, Inho or Zuko was like, or no, or Sashi's, and everybody's like, wait. So then he ends up killing the villain that murdered him, or murdered the ghost that was possessing Zuko's body. Yeah, as the, yeah. So he's, after he got home, he's in the corner, like that. And he's facing away from everybody. As Inko and Zumi, wow, did my quirk, or did the, or Inko was blaming herself for taking away, but then one of the ghosts that came out of Zuko's body that went right up to Inko, tells her that it's not her fault, and yeah, he's absorbing a lot of guilt. No. So, he's absorbing a lot of guilt? Is that what you just said? Yeah. He's absorbing a lot of guilt right now. So, yeah. So then when Inko, or let's say the next day, or the next morning, they got up, and Zuko is still in the same position. As yeah, and Ingo thinks that's creepy. Yeah. So she decides to go walk over to him and basically asked him if he wants his actual voice back. As he looks at her, as she forgot, as she gives her son back his voice, and nothing happened. So she's wondering why didn't he. Yeah. So, yeah. And he's a whole. So then he looks up. He slowly starts talking normally. As his first words was, Mama? Yeah. Or, so he says, Inko? That you? Yeah. As she's happy about it, as she hugs her own son, she knows that it's her body, when she touched him, basically hugged him. She knows that he's still cold, but so because he's 15. And he basically... So Nezu heard that Zuko has this power. Or... As... So Zuko joins UA. And he became the number one. And... Yeah. So a time skip to... All Might versus All For One, and in this alternate timeline, All For One just found out a way to make him go, like, into his prime. Like, basically, yeah. Let me show you what his... Oh, hold on. I don't know how to spell it, so it's prime all for one. All for one, yep. So, yeah, All For One found out a way to make him go into his prime. And when he's in his prime, he looks at All Might that was down, like he's, yeah, as All For One looks at looks at All Might, and tells him that your time is up. Now it's time for you to die. So he brings out a laser, shoots a laser at Zuko, or at All Might, as All Might, he wants to see her again. His master again. But then, out of nowhere, a young man comes out as he sticks his right hand out as a black vortex formed, as it zorbed into he zorbs All For One's attack, as he says, you must be All For One. As he froze when he knew, or Zuko, or no, All For One knew that his brother, is inside Zuko's body, as the caller, talked for him. Yeah. Now, you're in your prime now, as he, uses all of his quirks. But he also used, ready? As Zuko, as he created his own version of One For All. That, as he used a fusion generator, so he fused every part of him, as he became a literal, basically how All For One is in his prime. Well, Zuko, is when he fused all of his power, his quirks, into one, Zuko went beyond human. He went beyond on the yeah. He went beyond the just a normal quirked person. He went like his power, his power level went over, yeah, as, yeah, basically his true form looks like that. And All for One's surprised about this. Everybody's surprised. And Bakugo is like, holy crud! Inside of his own head is like, holy crud, this kid is no joke. And, yeah, as the deep, dark voice, or he did take off the collar before, as a deep, dark voice formed from Zuko's as he looks at All for One. It's time for you to die right here, right now. Now it's, yeah, as he charges up his own version of One for All. Oh, because of his infinity and zero absorbing the negativity of the him. As Zuko both, so he ends up going full bore. Like, basically, he created, like, weapon. And he's, in this form, he's untouchable. Yeah. As All for One tried to give him a haymaker one, as Zuko dodges the attack. And he did the same move what Ochako did to training, I think. Training. Not trader, training. I'm trying to, you know how not you a traitor, but yeah. Here. You know or it's that one internship where Ochako chose the gunhead guy, where he, like, when she took down Toga. Here, hold on. That's one. Where, yeah, it's like that same scene. But Zuko did it hard. As he backs up because he had his own version of danger sense. He backs up. As All for One's getting upset at this point. He's like, why can't I hit you? As the voice, as Zuko's voice is like, huh. maybe I'm too fast for you. So then, yeah. And it's time. As Zuko, like, straight up, as he basically purged the, like, yeah, it obliterated All for One. It was called Purging of the Heavens. So, yeah. Basically, Zuko, who just straight up killed All for One. And one of the quirks, he could see one of the quirks is flying off. That is Wildcat. And he grabs it before it fell, or before it, like, went off too far. As he walks over, as he puts it in, or back into, at this point, I mean, Zuko was a powerhouse. Basically, yeah. Cat. Oh. Yellow cat girl, yeah. So her like quirk was basically, or so she got her quirk taken away, but Zuko took it back to, yeah. And so she ends up feeling a lot better now. So now she's not quirkless. Yeah. So, but then he goes back. And so now he has, or his collar thing that he puts back on, or it jumps right back on to him. As he says, that was fun. That was, as one of the ghosts things, this still talks to him. And Zuko, no, yeah. So Zuko, at this point, was, everybody's like, man, with your powers, and yeah, as Rinko wants to see what he can do. So, as everybody wants to know, how do you do, like, how do you, yeah, sure. Can we see one of your ghost friends things in, sure, as one of the ghosts that kept around with him a long time? Because she was actually the first ghost girl, or ghost spirit, that he met. So, basically, she knew that he was like, if she was alive, she would have dated him in a heartbeat. But she knows that she's dead, and yeah. So she shows up. And she smiles. Huh. Yeah. Of course, Zuko says, I still can't get over it. Or actually, Bakugo says, yes, the court doctor lied to you. As everybody agrees. Yeah. But he didn't say I didn't have just one quirk. I actually have 4 quirks. As everybody just froze. Wait, so you're saying that you didn't have just one quirk? You have 4 quirks inside your body? Plus the... As they're like... They literally went outside and took a lap around the entire building for 2 minutes. Actually, 30 minutes. As Mr. Ozawa sits down with Zuko and says, what's one of them? Well, actually, yeah. The 4 quirks that I used to have before is, and no, they're not stolen, but he says the first one, and let me see how long this video took. Yep. Perfect time. He says, Dragon's Breath, the Eater of Millions, as he, and the, one of the, yeah. So he explains, and there's also a new one that the first, and All Might wants to know what the new one is. He created his own version, as he says, I created my own version of One for All. Wow. So you know how did you create One for All? As All Might sees the past users of One for All, like the first user all the way to to All Might's master, nurse, Nami, or I don't know. I always forget her name. Yeah. So, I forget her name. Yeah. So she ends up being there as All Might, he could not believe it. That all the past users of One for All gave Zuko, because Zuko actually didn't get One for All from All Might, but Zumi did, so yeah. So her and her brother now has it. So, yeah. So, yeah. Zuko, says, yeah, that's my 5th quirk. It's custom made. Okay? As All Might was like, man, this kid is on a whole nother level inside of his own head. So then so then when the students came back, they're like, man, you have, or let's change it from 4 to 5. So, yeah. So Zumi, or so the class 1A and 1B asks him, what's the all 5 quirks that you have now? Well, I have Dragon's Breath. Got it from I was born with it, and the Forge of Creation. It's almost similar to Momo's creation, but a lot better. Wow. As and Eaters of Millions, and yeah. So then he also has a fusion quirk. So yeah. He also tells them that he could also fuse their quirks and their bodies into one, and if they want to. So, as Dark Shadow's like, man, or everybody's like, man, you have more power than anyone in the world. Yeah. So, I might create a poll for this. Who would win between the Silent Zuko, of this What If, versus the Infinity Zuko? Like basically Infinity Gauntlet Zuko. Where, who would win? So Rinko, I think I pronounced her name in it right. Rinko, Reiko. Rinko. Not Geico, but Rinko. If you guys don't know what I'm trying to say, it is Rinko. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Rinko. Yeah. That's her. Ends up falling in love with Zuko because she wants somebody that's way more creepy, spooky, that she wants her to love. So, yeah. So she decides to ask him out on a date. So they've been dating. Yeah. I was gonna pick, or actually there's 2 girls asked him at the same time. Rinko and Ochako. And both of them. So, yeah. And, yeah. So Zuko decides, because he can't handle, 2 of them, so he tells Ringo and Ochako if it's okay to fuse both of them together. Because he doesn't mind, dating them both at the same time. So he does that. And, yeah. Rinko and Ochako ended up, when they fused together, they looked like, instead of looking like a monster, they actually looked like, or their fused form was so beautiful. As every guy that saw their fusion form, except for Zuko, because he did it. they all had nosebleeds. And yeah. So, yeah. So they basically, our girl and the, yeah. So, and plus also been added into the fusion was the spirit girl. So the soul girl that was in Zuko's body came out of his body with a fusion. So makes Ochako, or like the fusion, look so much beautiful. Yeah. So now it's time for me. So they did get married, and they sure did had a lot of kids. And yeah, I'm not gonna say it. So, but those kids had so much power. Their power level is similar to what Zuko was when he used his fused form, like fused his quirks and his abilities and the all the souls that were inside of his body. Yeah. So, please leave a like, share, subscribe, and comment, and do all that fun stuff. So, peace out, y'all. Peace.